is getting that clunky, old-style wheelchair in and out of your car. Introducing the Feather Chair Wheelchair. At 13 pounds, it's the world's lightest wheelchair. It folds in seconds and fits neatly in your trunk, backseat, or closet, so you can take it everywhere. And it's only available right here. Order yours today and get a free wheelchair case, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair. The world's lightest wheelchair is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581.
Attention all business owners and creative minds. Do you need a unique and personalized touch for your products? Look no further than Romika Laser Engraving and Custom Designs. I'm Ron Phillips, co-owner of Romika Designs. We offer custom laser engraving services for a variety of products, including promotional items and corporate or personal gifts. With state-of-the-art equipment and a team of skilled designers, we can engrave intricate designs on virtually any material. Whether it's a special message, a company logo, or a custom design, Romika Laser Engraving will help you make your mark. And the best part, our prices are affordable and our turnaround time is quick.
I couldn't be happier with the work Romika Laser Engraving did for me. The engraving on my product was precise and exactly what I wanted.
So don't wait any longer to add a personal touch to your products. Call Romika Laser Engraving and Custom Designs today at 817-400-4040 or visit our website at romikadesigns.com. We look forward to helping you make your mark.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1820. 855-325-1820. That's 855-325-1820.
You're listening to Joco Community Radio.
We're supposed to be live. We're under the mic. Somebody help. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Oh, we're finally in. Hello, Jobfather Nation. How are you doing today? We are excited to be back for this wonderful show. We've got a great lineup and a lot of exciting topics. But before we get started, we are proud to be a part of NTX Radio, which is a podcast and radio collective, proudly serving all of North Texas and can be heard all over the world on the TuneIn Radio and on the NTX Radio app. You can listen on Android, Apple CarPlay, or just ask Alexa to play NTX Radio. Sorry, I don't want that playing in my background. Check out our lineup and more at ntxradio.com. We thank our valued partners for helping us amplify the voices of North Texas. With that being said, let's quickly bow our head for a word of prayer. Father God, we just thank you for the privilege of serving the job seeker and job networking community. Open doors of opportunity for each and every one of them, like we know that only you can. And we pray, Lord God, that nobody would miss an opportunity to build fruit, endurance, and patience during this time of testing. And we thank you that you have good plans ahead for those who love you and seek you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Well,
All right.
Foster, I think you got a couple announcements, and we've got wonderful Mez. She may be jumping in here and there. We want to thank Mez for being our backbone. You're the best, Mez.
You are, man. You're that. What Dana said.
All that and a cup of tea.
Hey, Jobfather Nation. Guess who? It's your boy. So, in in respect for the March Madness, I've got my UCLA Bruins shirt on. So, hey, we got the girls and the boys that are in,
Let's go
and
Horns.
unfortunately, Texas Xavier put us out.
Oh,
We we didn't make it, but I'm still holding up my horns while I hold up my other sign, my hang loose. There it is.
let's go
Okay,
Horns. Hook 'em.
so good morning, guys. Let's talk about a job opening that I particularly am recruiting for right now, and I need a controller. So, a good friend of mine, I
Mm.
helped him get a CEO job in California and about 10 years ago, and now he's moved back here. And what happened was their company was bought by a VC, and they want to spread what they're doing all over the United States. I think they're trying to build 10 other all around the United States. They're trying to build 10 different locations. Dana,
What's a VC, Foster?
venture capital company. You know those companies.
All right. There we go.
Yeah, a VC. Yeah, and so that's where we are. If you worked in a VC environment, very
Uh-huh.
fast paced, it is a distribution type of company. Uh, and if you are a CPA, uh, contact me, Foster, and Mez will put this in the chat. Foster.williams@sbcglobal.net, and you'll get me, and we'll just talk about it. So
Yeah.
if you are that controller, this is a controller opportunity, guys, that will report to the CFO of the company.
Yeah.
And it's a well, it's not a new company, it's not a startup, guys. The company's been established. It's just that somebody with a bunch of money saw them and said, hey, we need to do more of this around the United States.
That's exciting, Foster. It sounds like a great opportunity.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Dana, you got something going on? You got something you would like to?
Sure do. We are growing our revenue cycle management team at Beacon Oral Specialists. Wonderful company and culture, great leadership. We are about to open up 2 roles in our revenue cycle team. I believe a payment poster level 2 and a billing specialist level
Oh,
2,
okay.
and the individual needs to have at minimum healthcare experience in the billing space, because it's very different than billing in a different industry, right? So I would say healthcare slash dental revenue cycle management, 2 great opportunities with great leadership and opportunity to grow. And then so that's beaconoralspecialist.com, where I'm blessed to work and serve the Lord at. I love the company, great leadership. And then I was with Caris Life Sciences for 8 years, and they hire both in the Dallas Fort Worth area and Phoenix, Arizona, and some remote throughout the United States. They're an
Uh-huh.
oncology focused company, and they also hire on a regular basis healthcare revenue cycle, customer support, a lot of different areas in marketing. And also, there is, if I can remember correctly, in their lab in Phoenix, Arizona, they're always hiring great individuals that want to learn more about the molecular side. Sometimes there are roles that require experience, and some of them they'll train the right person. That's always a great opportunity if you're looking to get into something new, or you want to, you enjoy learning new things. Anyway, keep that in mind. That's Caris Life lifesciences.com.
How
And
do you
I'd like
spell that, Dana?
CARIS as in
Yeah,
Sam,
yeah.
lifesciences.com. Yep, thank you. And then please keep in mind, if you are needing excellent support, whether it be recruitment or posting your jobs or having your jobs announced on air, reach out to Foster Williams at the same website and email address that Mez just posted. And don't forget, Foster is working full time as a servant of the Lord in the job seeking ministry. So please keep in mind that to continue doing these things, we need to support all of the efforts and the activities that go on behind the scenes that take a lot of time and money. So go to search for you. Foster, you have the email address. I'm pretty sure Mez can stick it up
Just
for
put
us.
it in there. Yeah.
Yep, and donate, please, because it helps Foster to be able to do what they do, whether it's hosting job fairs, their networking groups. There's so many different events that he and his community put on, but some of those things cost money. So thank you for your attention
They
to that.
do. They do. And thanks, Dana. And you just reminded me of something. I want to tell folks that NTX Radio, I want to talk about NTX Radio a little bit before
Okay,
we start talking about our topic. So, guys,
love it.
if you ever wanted or considered having your own podcast, or we are streaming radio here, the majority of what we do, we stream the other streaming radio channels. And there's a lot of people driving around in cars listening to us right now.
Oh yeah.
So, get in contact with me, guys. Foster Williams,
Hmm.
214-728-6930. And we can talk about a lot of different ideas you may have in your head. You may want to have your own radio show. You may want to have your own podcast. Same as me and
Ooh,
Dana.
ooh,
I think it's
ladies, you
cool.
just got Foster's number.
Oh my God. It's nothing's gonna the phone's not gonna ring.
Whatever. Got an eligible gentleman right
Oh my goodness. Oh, okay, we won't go there. So
here.
guys, uh, Dana and I thought that it'd be a good idea if we talk about
Yeah,
our world today. Now, what are you talking about, Foster?
yeah.
Well, what do recruiters actually do, Foster and Dana? What do you
Mhm.
guys go through?
Yep.
Let's talk about some fundamentals because I think it'll help job seekers if
It
they
will.
know what it is that we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the number one thing that I like to do as a recruiter, if I have a hiring manager that needs to hire a certain thing, I have a meeting of the minds with
Yes, we
that hiring manager and get
sure
to build a
do.
relationship with that hiring manager. I want to know that hiring manager. Yeah, we want to talk about the tangibles of what you are looking to hire, but Foster wants to feel the intangibles about what kind of person do you need on your team? What
Mhm.
kind of person would you hire in that you'd be comfortable hiring in and putting into your team, especially as a leadership? I see Rex Soward is with us today. So,
Rex.
hey, Rex. Rex knows me and him have conversations all the time about this. But guys, uh, there are questions that Dana and I and other recruiters
Yeah.
will ask you because we had that conversation with that hiring manager and we know
Yeah.
what it is outside of the job description
Yep.
that it is that he's trying to hire. And so a lot of times if we can build a relationship with that recruiter, we can get a little bit closer in. And when we
Oh yeah.
suggest to the hiring manager that they talk to Polly Edwards, then I'm picking on Polly because there she is right there. I can see her.
Mhm.
And Polly will go in and know a little bit about that hiring manager and how to
Yeah.
talk to that hiring manager and some of the things that are important for that hiring manager to build into his team. Dana, what are some of the things that you do? What's your world look like?
Yeah, thank you, Foster. This is fabulous question. So, what Foster started out with the core of the starting point. So once a company has a position approved, it comes over to the recruitment team. And the first thing we do is set up a meeting with the hiring leader, just like Foster said. And that is called a recruitment strategy meeting. And we partner with them because we not only want to understand the core skills this person needs, any years of experience doing this certain type of task, certification, educational requirements, different things like that. But we've got to understand the quote unquote soft skills, which is what Foster referred to, the the dynamic of an individual that would work well within the organization and within the team. And so keep in mind when you're being interviewed, you're not only being interviewed for your core skill set and experience and qualifications, but you're also being interviewed for to water it down, your approach and personality.
Yep, your fit. Yep.
Yep, yeah, which is your fit. Organizations typically like to hire individuals that are outside the box thinkers, that have good communication skills, good demeanor, easy to work with, professional, respectful, and so keep that in mind when you're interviewing, because you're not only interviewing for your key qualifications, but they're wanting to look at red flags like, is this person defensive? Does this person listen and articulate answers well? Is this individual, are they a positive individual? Would they be someone I could see myself working with every day? So that's the first step. And then the second part is we do work to support our hiring leaders. Now, I think, Foster, what would be good to clarify is there's the two heavy primary types of recruiters are recruiters that work for a
There you go.
corporate organization, meaning we work for a company, like I work for Beacon Oral Specialists. So my responsibility that I'm blessed with is to lead the team of recruiters for all of our open jobs, to keep the organization growing and to find good talent. Now, I've also worked the other side of the table, which is agency or third party, meaning we have companies come to us and say, hey, listen, we're overwhelmed. We either do or don't have an internal recruitment team, but they can't help. We're going to pay you a fee to find people for us. And whether the recruiter sits at the corporate level or on the agency level, please understand the recruiter works for the individual with the open job that's hiring. Okay. So it's
Yep.
our responsibility to find quality candidates based on what they're looking for. So it's always good to sell yourself. But if a recruiter tries to tell you that the leader is going a different direction, it's always okay to ask questions, but don't fight or get aggressive or be too pushy on your background, because understand that their paycheck comes from providing the right candidates according to their hiring leader's perception. Okay.
That's right. That's right. Now, did you see what Rex just posted? Apparently, he just landed at GE Aerospace, and he's going to start. Rex is out in South Carolina now, guys. And
Go Rex.
to tell you a little bit about Rex Salad, guys, he is probably the primary reason that I do what I do. You're talking about a knowledgeable person. He's been on our
Oh,
show
he's
multiple
amazing.
times. I'm going to try to get him back on the show so we can talk about GE Aerospace a little bit more. I
That'd
spent
be great.
many years in aerospace myself, so Rex and I'll have more and more to talk about, and that is cool, Rex. I didn't even know that myself. So GE Aerospace. So there's one thing that I can tell you guys you can count on happening. Whatever's going on at GE Aerospace, Mez and Dana and I will know, and we will be sharing some opportunities at GE Aerospace because we know the person that's recruiting for this.
Heck
For
yeah. That's
so
great, because there'll be a lot more opportunities that we'll be able
yeah,
to announce on the show.
that's what this network is all about.
It is.
Just the one thing. Now I'll tell you something else about recruiting, guys.
Okay.
Now, a lot of times you guys will hear us ask specific questions. Now I'm
Yeah.
just going to pick a scenario
Yeah,
that I've
let's
been
do it.
through. So I happen to know that now that we're going back to the office a lot more, we don't have as many. There's still plenty, but we don't have as many remote jobs, and we're trying to get people back to the office. Sometimes that hiring manager that Foster is serving says, Foster, the the dynamics of this job that I'm looking to hire requires that somebody be pretty close to the office. So I can't reload anybody for this.
Ooh,
I
so
can't
true.
I can't if the job is in Fort Worth, I can't hire anybody in Plano. So if you guys have to be Dallas centric to understand what
And
I'm
and Foster, explain from the hiring leader's perspective why they may be concerned about someone driving from Fort Worth to Plano.
Well, if it's a situation that has to be dealt with there at the office, there are a lot of jobs that people, especially in IT now, guys, you got to get to that computer, and that computer's in that office. You got you got to show up for that kind of stuff. They would rather you be maybe 15 minutes away, that kind of thing. Now, those are not things that you guys are going to see posted on a job posting.
No. Mm-mm.
But Dana and I, and the inside, the recruiter with the
Yeah.
relationship, there I go with my word. I got to get close to the screen when I say that.
Relationship.
With the
And when you,
relationship.
oh, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
Well, you if you have that relationship, you know that's what the hiring manager wants,
Yeah.
and we will ask questions accordingly sometimes, and your answer to that question will determine. Now, we're not going to tell you I can't hire you because you live
No. Yeah.
45
That's
minutes away.
no. But Foster, if I might add in,
Add
so
in.
please keep in mind, and what I wanted the audience to understand is it's not that the person can't drive it, but we had this situation not too long ago. We were hiring for a leader in our company, and they would
Uh-huh.
have to drive from Fort Worth every single day. And while this individual had a phenomenal background, held off on talking to this individual for a little bit, because the concern is, and the reason hiring leaders are often adverse to someone that has a long commute, regardless of how much the individual says, no, it's okay, is people always say, no, it's okay. And then about 2 to 3 months, and they're like, I can't do this anymore. And
Uh,
they leave.
yes, yeah,
And then
yeah,
we spend
yeah.
all that time training, and there's a cost to hiring, especially when you look at time and getting benefits administration and all the things the company has to do, and then all of a sudden the person leaves. So that's why, in general, leaders get a little nervous when people are, an hour, 45 to an hour or more, maybe an hour or more away. However, this individual made it very clear over and over and over, and had previous jobs right in the area that this individual was at for quite a while. So we saw that they did drive this for quite a while, and let us know why they live so far out, and it's something to do with their personal hobbies, and they'd rather drive in for work but live closer to nature for their personal hobbies than be in the middle of a city. And so and the individual has proven background in driving with no issues. So we decided, after much concern, to go ahead and interview, and we did hire them. So all that to say, keep all of that in mind should you be looking at a job where it causes a drive, and know how to approach the recruiter, right? So that they can feel more confident about putting you in front of the hiring leader if you do have a drive.
Uh-huh. I've in that situation like that before. I've asked a candidate, if they were willing to move closer to the job,
Oh, that's a good
because
point.
when Rex was working out there for the Choctaw Nation, Rex was an hour and a half down the road. I maybe even
Wow.
it might even been an hour and 45 minutes. So when Rex was talking to candidates, he was concerned about what is there. He would know what the hiring manager thinks about someone being so far away, but Rex would ask questions about, hey, uh, what do you feel as though uh, uh, about that distance? What do you
Yeah.
feel about driving that distance every day?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
sort of thing. Because Dana, you brought up a good point. That does enter the phraseology there, and it enters into the thought patterns. Uh,
Yeah, it does.
Polly has been a VP, and she's hired people before. So, we're going to be talking to her in a little bit. But these are some of the things, guys, that you have to understand, that recruiters are the middlemen. We're the middle ladies in Dana's case.
The middle
The
person.
middle
Yeah.
person. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're people, aren't we?
Some days.
And we build those relationships. They should be. We
Yeah,
build those relationships for that purpose, because
we
we
do.
don't want to waste anybody's time. We definitely
Yeah.
don't want to waste the hiring manager's time, because we get graded and we keep our jobs because we keep those hiring managers happy.
Exactly. I mean, that's the key. So please know that if a recruiter is trying to explain why something isn't working, it's by all means not to be difficult, right, Foster? It's because they have an accountability, and to do their job well is to find the right kind of candidates that hiring leader is looking for. And if we just send anybody because they think they're a fit, it could jeopardize our standing and perception with that leader.
I have a
Yeah.
question for you guys.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go for it, girl.
So I completely understand, and everybody just that's listening out there, it is recruiters, doesn't matter third party or internal recruitment, they are
Yeah.
handling so many people.
Oh my
You don't
gosh,
realize how many
yes.
people they have. So with that being said,
Good
what is
point.
your pushback, Foster and Dana? What is your pushback? You finally found that like purple squirrel, we call it, right? The
Yeah.
perfect fit. And you have a hiring manager like, no, I just, they're awesome. We went through 9 interviews with them. Everybody loves them. How do you handle a hiring manager that will not pull the trigger?
You.
Oh, that's my world. The company has hired me to be the internal hitman for that one. So
Tell us what you do short of a
I'm
gun,
gonna I'm
Foster.
gonna tell you guys something. I'm gonna jump ahead of the curve a little bit here. I'm gonna talk about Polly Edwards. I'm gonna tell you guys, when you hear Polly talk, and we talk about Polly and what she's gonna be looking for in a little bit, I guarantee you're gonna want to hire Polly. Now, here's the thing.
Yep.
If you don't move hiring managers, and we got a lot of companies that are listening right now, and
Hmm.
we're recording this show, so a lot of people will be hearing two weeks down the line. If you guys do not get a poly, in if a candidate for a job seeker comes on this show, believe me, they're exemplary. I'm here to tell you. And you know what?
I can tell you too.
Polly
Foster.
Polly likes to eat. She doesn't even live in Texas, but she likes to eat.
Ooh.
And a lot of people have families they got to take care of. Hiring managers, if you guys are interested in a person, there's probably 5, 6 other companies that are interested in hiring that person too. And they do not have, it's nothing against your company, but nobody's going to sit up and wait on, I'm going to pick one of my companies I work for, Verizon. They're not going to sit up.
Mm-mm.
I went through
Yeah.
this in Verizon. They are not going to sit up and starve waiting on Verizon to get their act together to hire them. They got to get things going. They got to get money coming in that
Yeah,
door,
they do.
you know?
Foster,
And
yeah.
yes.
No, you make a good point, but go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'll
No,
jump
no,
in.
that's what I wanted to say is
Okay.
companies, if you guys don't move quickly, probably somebody else is going to hire that candidate that you like.
Absolutely. So, 100%, to Mez's point, there are times where hiring leaders for various reasons might be slow to pull a trigger. And it is another part of our responsibility as a recruiter, especially a more experienced recruiter that their role is consultative. We often have to sit down with the hiring leader and say, okay, here's the market, here's what we've been seeing, what are your concerns, and try to coach them through that. Some leaders hold back because they're nervous to pull the trigger because maybe they're new to the role and they don't want to make a bad hire, or maybe they've just had some traumatic experiences and they're just nervous. Some leaders have some difficulties with maybe past employees, and so they're extra sensitive against certain things,
Uh-huh,
and they
uh-huh,
might
uh-huh.
pick something up in the interview and overthink it and worry that whatever trauma they faced with a previous direct report might happen again. And we have to sit and coach with them, we really do. And there's a lot of times where we have to give them a more a 360-degree lens to look at all of the facts and to kind of coach them so that they can look at it from a broader perspective. So that's how I would answer Mez's question.
That's a good answer, and you only can do half of those things that Dana mentioned if you have a relationship. And there's a
Yeah.
lot of times, guys, you can tell when you're talking to when you're talking to that recruiter what type of relationship they
Yeah.
have. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something else before we run out of time. An internal recruiter is not necessarily all the time the best recruiter to work for that role. You may have an agency that you're working with. Now, if that person in that agency is able to convince you that they have a wonderful relationship and they give you the why they have that wonderful relationship with that hiring manager, you're in good shape. You're in good
Yeah.
hands. So
You are.
go with those people. But guys, you job seekers, make sure when these agencies call you, make sure that they can convince you that they have a good relationship with that company, especially that hiring manager that they're trying to serve. And if they
Yeah.
don't, I'll be honest with you, you're wasting your time.
Yeah, and I would say it's I mean, it never hurts to get presented, but I agree, Foster. I mean, you're probably going to have more collaboration, more communication when they have a good relationship. So, sometimes it can be like even though they need to hire, it can truly be like pulling teeth to get that hiring leader to move. And trust me, it's just as frustrating for the recruiter because we want to get that job off of our plate as well, right? We want to get that role filled. We want to get that
Oh
off of our
yeah.
plate as soon as possible. So you bring up a good point. It is good, good to make sure that
Thank,
that
thank
organization.
you, Mackenzie. I can hear the music. I'm sorry to cut in on you,
Oh no,
Jamie.
it's okay because I can't hear
We're
it.
going to
So
commercial. I'll come back with a dad joke, and we're going to keep following.
woo! I still can't hear the music at all.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now to learn more.
800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. That's 800-240-4587.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Joco Community Radio. Listen live at tunein.com.
Oh, I guess we're back, Foster. All right. I'm excited. Well, we definitely have an amazing guest for the second half. And I am excited. But before we go there, what I'd like to do is just remind everybody that we are part of NTX Radio, a radio and podcast collective proudly serving all of North Texas and can be heard all over the world on TuneIn Radio and on the NTX Radio app. You can listen on Android, Apple CarPlay, or just ask Alexa to play NTX Radio. Check out the lineup and more at ntxradio.com. We thank our valued partners in helping us amplify the voices of North Texas. Well, Foster, super excited to hear this dad joke you got for us.
You know, I'm gonna see if you can figure this out. Polly's real smart. She'll probably figure this out. So
yeah, she'll probably get it before I do.
You'll probably get it. So, what do you call a paper airplane that can't fly? You ever made those paper airplanes?
Yeah, that was my first thought, Dana.
Yeah. Okay, Rex, you're gonna have to judge. You're gonna have to be my referee on this one. A paper airplane that can't fly, you call it stationary.
Oh, that's cute. Okay, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
That is so funny. I love it.
So, guys, let me tell you who is with us today. Yay. We have Polly Edwards that's with us now. Polly, guys, is an internal communications executive. She's been involved in change management. Oh, my goodness. When you guys check out her LinkedIn profile, you're going to be impressed because she's got a strong background in programs as well. So, we're going to be talking with Polly today about, okay, what it is next. What do you think is next? Because it's been your career, Polly, and you know how it's grown. And my first question is, are you relocatable? Because I know you're a big communications executive, and you're close to San Diego.
Yes, I am. I'm in Southern California, halfway between Orange County and San Diego. For those of you, I know we've got some folks that have some military background on the line. So
Oh yeah.
I'm just outside of Camp Pendleton. So
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
cool.
that's
Yeah.
a bigger landmark than Orange County and San Diego for some folks.
Okay. I
But
spent some I spent some time in Orange County. I never told you that, did I, Polly?
you did not. You
No.
did not. Uh,
Newport Beach.
oh, that's a good place to spend some time, sir.
Yeah, it was fun. I was much, much younger. I had hair. I used to get dates and all that kind of stuff back then.
You're funny. Well, thank you guys. First and foremost, thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on with you. I've enjoyed your radio shows for the past several weeks since I've gotten to know Foster, and just excited for the opportunity. And to answer your first question, since that was the first one you asked me, Foster, unfortunately, I'm not relocatable. I have some family connections here in Southern California
Understood. Yeah.
that are keep me tied here. But the one thing that I will say about that, and I know you both touched on remote work and being close to the office and things like that, is I've worked remotely for the majority of my career. I've built teams. I've supported national sales teams and national sales forces, and have developed the relationships with the leadership and the executives and my business partners. Pre-COVID, long pre-COVID, I was working remotely. So it's one of those things where I know that there's kind of a stigma around it, or starting to be in return to office. I'm fine at being in an office too. It's just I can fully do everything that I need to do and develop all of the relationships that I need to develop from a remote
Uh-huh.
standpoint.
Hey, Polly, have you ever worked for a healthcare company? There's a friend of mine that's listening right now from a big old Southern California healthcare company. And I wanted him to hear you and to see you today. Have you ever had any experience in a healthcare company?
I haven't, Foster, but what I look at is what I do. My skills are fully transferable.
Okay.
That's where you rely, and I'm gonna get close to my computer again. The relationships with your business partners, and your subject matter experts with what I do. That's where you rely on those partnerships and those relationships to be able to help you with your communications, your change management, your project management, defining those deliverables and helping you meet those goals. So while I don't have experience in the healthcare. I have worked in highly regulated. Yeah, I've worked in highly regulated fields before. With finance and banking and mortgage. I could probably pick up on it pretty quick.
Oh, you could. I guarantee you could. I just wanted to ask that. I was having a conversation with Matt, and I was like, okay, I'll see. I don't know. I can't answer that question, but I'll ask her.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. So, Polly, tell me this: what got you've got a rich history in program management and development and all that kind of stuff, and your last opportunity was VP of internal communications, wasn't it?
It was.
Are you interested mainly in going in that communications direction, or let's talk to you about some things that you would be happy going in, because that's only one direction.
It
Yeah,
is,
that's a good point.
Foster. And that's a really good point. And I worked most of my career. Somebody called me this just recently when I was talking to him, a past executive that I supported, and they called me a Swiss Army knife. For most of my career, I've been a Swiss Army knife. I've done change management, I've done training, I've done onboarding, I've done program management, I've done communications, I've done all the things. And the teams that have worked underneath me, we did all of the things, technology, project management, all of those sorts of things. And so when I got laid off from Union Bank during a merger and acquisition with US Bank,
yeah.
I decided to pick a lane because
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
I had always done the Swiss Army knife thing. So I picked a lane and I did internal communications, stayed in finance, but went with internal communications. And while I enjoyed it, I realized that I'm still a Swiss Army knife. And those sorts of environments are something that I thrive in, where I am more in the forefront of the change management cycle to be able to help shape the direction that training, communications, and employee impacts are established earlier in the process versus reacting to them later, to be able to help decrease that employee resistance and increase that employee engagement when it comes to change management.
You know what, Polly, I'm going to tell you something I'm noticing, and I think Dana probably is too. Your ability to articulate yourself and where you have been.
Amazing.
Number one, I think that speaks to a communications executive anyway. But
Absolutely.
I can totally see you being involved, especially being the VP of communications as you have been, because of your way to articulate things and your understanding. Because you've been in the middle of everything, you can be the one to talk about it. You companies, I'm trying to help you guys understand how you can utilize Poly in your environment.
That's awesome.
And Foster, I have been really blessed to be able to work with some great teams. And I've worked with, when you deal with technology and technology teams, and apologize to anyone who is IT on this call, but
hey,
they seem to speak their own language.
It is so true.
And one of the things that there was a point in my career that I struggled with, that I have come through, and it was just a facet of my career that I really had to work on, was I had to go through and be able to translate technology to business. And that is such a critical skill, because business people don't care what the code says.
So true.
Especially salespeople. Like, they want to know nuts and bolts. Is it going to impact my money? Is it going to impact how fast I can do things because I need to make money? And things like that. So, that was what a really critical skill that I developed early in my career, was being able to translate that tech to frontline people. And it's different for different frontline teams. Everybody is impacted differently when you talk about that technology. And it was the greatest compliment that I got, particularly during our merger and acquisition with Union Bank, was the teams basically tell me, thank you for not over communicating with us. We were drinking a fire hose and we didn't know what we were supposed to be looking at. And so, as part of that communication strategy that I put together during that merger and acquisition, was pulling together a weekly communication for our sales team that said, this is exactly what's happening, what you need to focus on right now. Here's what's happening in a week. Here's what's happening in 3 weeks. And here's what you have to look forward to, and what the impacts are to you on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis. And it was so critical, because they were just, they're trying to still make money, which is the way that they're putting food on their table. But then they're trying to figure out how they're going to continue to make money as part of this merger and acquisition and transition to a new organization. And so, again, that just goes to trying to make sure that you're telling the people what they need to hear when they need to hear it.
That's so important.
That
Can I just say, Polly, you are one of the most impressive candidates we've ever had on the show.
You're amazing.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah,
so that's my compliment.
I know a good candidate when I see one. I've been recruiting. I don't want to tell y'all how long I've been recruiting.
You're so funny. No, but honestly, Polly, it's so refreshing to hear that level of genuineness, professionalism, articulation, but also from the moment I met you, even pre-show, it was just so enjoyable to chit chat, and I can see why you've been so successful in your career, and any organization would genuinely be lucky to have someone like you. And the fact that you have that self-awareness to know kind of who you're communicating with and what's appropriate for that dynamic. Like
Yeah.
you mentioned, you didn't over communicate with that one team, and you kind of learn your audience and their background and their role and what they need to hear and know based on what they do. Right. And so
Absolutely.
I just very impressive.
Thank you very much. And
Polly, I have another question. Now, I'm just being a nerd. I'm just being a recruiter because I know Rex Alvin. We talk about all this stuff. We're two nerds, but I know there's an extreme difference, and a lot of people do not because they're not involved in communications. And
Yeah.
there's a big difference in the internal communications and external communications. Have you been involved in external communications as well?
I have. I did a lot of it at LPL, my last position. I did
Okay.
some thought leadership for the executive that I was supporting and his social media. And absolutely, Foster, there is a drastic difference between
Big
external
time.
and internal communication. My wheelhouse is internal. I can do external. It is just, it's not where my passion lies. My passion lies in the development of those internal communications to ensure that company culture, company brand, employee engagement, employee resistance is lessened on the internal side. That's where my passion lies. But I can do PR. I'm a communications major. That's what both my bachelor's and my master's in.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've got a broadcast journalism minor too, so I did a little bit of this and that along the way. So I can do it. It's just not my passion.
And
That's
that's honest, and that's good. That's good
Mhm.
for people that are looking to hire you. You
Yeah.
should know that. Absolutely. I
Absolutely.
see Trey Shapey. All right, Trey and Ray Gilliam and Sandy Gilliam with us as well. There's no relation there. They are of no relation. I can't remember what movie that was.
They are of no
They
relation.
are of no relation.
Oh, for goodness
But guys, I
sake.
like to shout out when we have you guys visiting with us and you show up in the chat. That is absolutely wonderful. If you guys have questions, your companies, if you have questions for Polly, feel free to put a question in the chat if you want to know something.
I have
Okay.
Rex actually put in a question in the chat. Foster, do you want
Yeah,
to?
yeah. That's where I was going next. Go ahead.
Sorry,
Go ahead, Polly.
didn't mean to take over on the like the moderating duties.
Hey,
need to get out of my lane.
That's so funny.
Sorry.
No, you're
You'd
good.
be better at my job than I am.
Not at all. Couldn't even compete. So I'm going to read the question just in case anybody's not like looking at the chat. It says, why do so many companies fail in building culture sustainability in the midst of enterprise-wide change cycles with predictable fear and resistance from top leadership?
Ooh.
That is a very loaded question, Rex.
That's a loaded, good one. Yeah.
Rex always has the best and hardest questions. I love it.
So I think the biggest things, and I'll go back to the reason why change management creeps into what I do from an internal communication standpoint, is I think so many companies don't ask the right questions early enough. I think that when you're looking at a big change, you look at, particularly executive leadership, look at it from the 10,000 foot level, and they look at it on how it is going to impact bottom line. How is it going to impact reputation from an external standpoint? Are there regulatory issues or things like that? They look at it at that very high level. And I think where change managers come into play, and sometimes we as a change manager experience some resistance because we ask the hard questions. We ask questions around, okay, what about this? What about the salespeople? What about the operations team? You're looking to add X number of hours, or you're looking to lay off X number of people, and that's going to increase the workload on the rest of the team. And the reason those questions are so important from a change management perspective early, we're not looking to change the executive's point of view or change the direction that they're looking to go, but it helps from an internal communication perspective to shape our messaging, to be able to address the resistance prior to it even happening.
It's being anticipatory and getting ahead.
Exactly, Dana. It's getting ahead of that resistance instead of reacting to the resistance after it's already built up, Because, once executives are hearing that resistance in the front lines, it's already snowballing. And your company culture and that little cancer is growing because you haven't anticipated what
That
that
is
potential
true.
resistance is.
That is true. I will utilize the situation that I went through, and Rex and I talk about this all the time. Do you guys remember the company GTE, General Telephone
Yes.
Electric?
Yes, of course.
So GTE hired me because they were going to merge with Bell Atlantic. And this
Oh,
was back in 1999, because they were going to merge. And I was to be the talent acquisition director for all of that new company.
Wow.
And oh my goodness, Polly, would I have hired you back then? I had to hire two communications VPs, believe it or not. And what you mentioned, Polly, is very, very important because those things have to be communicated internally so that the C level people will know what they're getting themselves into. We had a number of change issues that we had that were handled really, really well. I've got to give my change folks. I got to give you props. I hired you anyway, so
there you go, Foster.
but I understand. I understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
and it is so on. It's so accurate. What you were describing totally reminded me of Verizon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because you said you had different change managers, and oftentimes going back to the question you asked me about internal and external communications, oftentimes it's really good to have both of those being separate.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is that I'm going to ask questions related to internal communications and the impacts and the changes on an internal level, but there are very different risks and risk mitigation techniques that need to go into place for external communications. And it's similar skill sets, but it's also very different in the sense of your positioning is very different. Obviously, external, particularly if you're talking about a publicly traded company, you've got to talk to investors about why you're doing this. But at the same time, you have to partner with that internal communications person because your internal employees are going to read that external messaging. And if there's not alignment there, then you've got a real problem because then your internal employees are thinking that you're talking out of the wrong side of your mouth and you're just placating them. So you've got to be very connected from an internal and an external standpoint when you're talking about what those enterprise wide changes. So Rex, that was an absolutely amazing question. Thank you.
Yeah, all of his are like that.
Yeah.
That's why I hang with him so people think I'm smart.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm really grateful for the team that we have here because it's just a blessing, and that's why it's so important to really be a part of the network. I mean, we wouldn't have the blessing of knowing Polly if we weren't, part of the network. And
right.
Polly, it's such a it's a breath. I was about to say it backwards, a fresh breath of air to meet you. I'm excited to see where you land. I can see why, like I said earlier, I can see why you've been so successful in your career. And, I went through this, I was doing a training for the team, Level Up was our theme for 2025 and just kind of going in and talking through 2024, what's working, what's not working, and proactively planning for 2025. And our CHRO came in and did a little presentation. And it was this concept of she would just take this pen and drop it in front of of one of my employees to see, or one of our team members to see, what she would do. And she kept picking it up and putting it on the desk. And the whole concept was to see if eventually they would be proactive and prepared to catch it so that they're getting ahead. And that's what you were talking about, is just getting ahead of the problem versus letting it brew,
Exactly.
being anticipatory as to, okay, based on this situation, where could these dominoes end up falling? And based on where these dominoes could end up falling, should we go ahead and start being proactive if option B or C would happen? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Absolutely. And there were times in my career where I had leaders go, "Why are you such a pessimist?" And I was like, not being a pessimist, just trying to anticipate.
It's not about being a pessimist.
No,
yeah.
not at all.
And it took once or twice where what I said came to fruition, and they're like, "Okay, now we get it.
Now we get it.
Now we get
Much
it.
respect." But you're like, come on, it doesn't take all that.
Polly's relationships across the platform of the company is what comes into play. She
Yeah.
has relationships in many, many different departments in a company. So she's going to know not only what our needs are, but she's going to know how we attack some of those needs from a leadership perspective.
Yeah.
It's we're putting all this stuff together. Okay, we're this new company, we're changing, and everybody's bringing this new stuff in. And somebody's got to know how to make those communications. Sometimes even to introduce people that are new to the company to the people that can make things happen that are poised in that department to make things happen anyway. I'm remembering I hired for Verizon. My external communications person hired James Earl Jones to be our spokesperson. And that,
Oh,
that
wow.
rest in peace, James Earl Jones and Darth Vader. Anyway,
Voice of the
Yes.
ages. Voice of the
but you
ages.
guys, a lot of you guys remember the early Verizon commercials.
Yep.
We had James Earl
100%.
Jones, yeah. So, guys, these relationships that Dana and I talk about all the time are when you think about why would Foster talk about relationship, because that's what it's all about. I want to give Polly some kudos because she's out in California and she is networking with us right here in Texas.
I love
Well,
it.
you know what? With all the technology that we have and the ability to do the things that we can do today, guys, why are you not? Why are you keeping it local?
Yeah.
Why can't you reach out and get an answer or meet somebody? You never know where God's going to have you meet up with that could be instrumental in where you're going.
Great people are
Man.
all over the place, and I am very grateful for the opportunity to have spent this time with you, and have the opportunity to be with the crazies for a little while, Dana and
Good,
Foster and Mez too.
You know it. You know it.
I appreciate it.
good.
Yeah. We
And
just have way too much fun. We're
Polly,
going to have you back.
I'll tell you something on what I'm talking about right now. We're talking about Maz. When I first met Maz, I met Maz in my HR group. She was new to the network, and I have everybody introduce themselves and while they were there, what they're looking for, all that kind of stuff. Maz is a biochemical engineer, and she showed up in an HR meeting,
I know she's
and
awesome.
everybody was going, "What?" But you know what?
Yeah. I just love
Yeah,
Mez. She's not
she's
afraid.
not at all.
She's like, hey, I'm going to come
So
meet you.
I love you guys that have the high IQs. I got to hang with y'all more.
Aw. Well, Mez, you're awesome. It's so, I can tell you, I'm so, oh,
But
No, no, no.
is
That's a
that the
different
no,
music?
Verizon.
No?
no.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just so grateful to be a part of this group and
Amen.
and team. And we have the most amazing guests every week. And I'm just so incredibly thankful, Polly, that you're here. I'm so excited to see the great opportunities that are opening up before you. And we're gonna have to have you back and have you tell everybody your story once you land because I know it's gonna be very soon. So I'm very
Dana, I got to
excited.
steal from you. I'm going to ask your question. Polly, do you
Do
have
it.
target companies? Because we are a network and I am the job father, so I'm probably
You,
going to have connections in pretty much any of your target companies that you might have.
You are, and you actually helped me with a couple of them. So
Good.
you helped me get in
Yeah, we
contact with
did.
someone at Thomson Reuters, and my whole thing is I don't necessarily have target companies, and I know that from a recruiting standpoint, and networking, I'm supposed to. I get it. Here's the
Well,
thing.
maybe, maybe not.
I want to find a company where I can do well individually, continue to grow, and be my best self, but also do good. Meaning, do good for the company, do
Yeah.
good for the community, and do good outside of just the bottom line.
Now that
That's
is a
what I'm looking for.
communications expert right there. That was
That's
expertly said.
right.
I want to give a shout out to Glenda Cheatham. Yay, Glenda's back in the network. I mean, I don't want to say that you're back in the network. I mean, it's horrible having to be back, but it is. And then Sharon Newman. Good morning to you as well, guys. I think it's tremendous that you guys join us each week. And I'm glad to have Glenda back. I've known Glenda for, oh my goodness, I've known Glenda since the inception of the HR group. Glenda is an
Oh, that's
Glenda's an
amazing.
HRIS person. And Dana, I would strongly suggest that you connect with Glenda Cheatham on LinkedIn. because you and I
Okay.
are so close to HR. Oh my goodness, we hear HR opportunities all over the place all the time.
Yeah, this is
So, Polly, we
awesome.
appreciate you being with us. We really do. And
Thank you, and thank you
I
for all the
kicked
great
it in.
comments on the chat.
Absolutely. I hear music. So we'll be back next week, guys, with new guests and new ideas.
Yeah, talk
See
to
ya.
y'all soon.
Hang loose, Bruins. We're going to do okay.